Y'all, thank you again for joining these webinars. Really means a lot to us that you take your time and come in and join these things. We are mscrm-addons.com, and we're your company for CRM add-ons or Dynamics add-ons. Today, basically, what we're going to be covering is Dynamics 365 and SharePoint. Talk a little bit about the CRM SharePoint integration, our tools, and kind of what you can do with them. And you know, show a little bit, give a little demonstration there at the end. My name's Clint Higley, and I have with me on the phone, I have Michael Dorr. He's actually going to be answering all your questions there in the chat. That chat's going to be in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. You're going to see a little tab that says chat. That's usually the best place to ask questions when the webinar is kind of going on. There is a little QA button up top. Would suggest you avoid those. Sometimes we actually miss those. So the chat is really the best way to do it. Webinar usually runs about 30 minutes or so, and afterwards, time permitting, we do a little question and answer session. Just anything that you might have thought of that you want to get answered after this is over. But Michael's real good about answering any kind of questions or anything like that usually anyone has. We do record these, and usually they're up on the website, usually within 24 hours, recording of this webinar along with the slides. So that'll be emailed out to you, and you'll be able to go and get those. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. And today, again, so we're talking about Dynamics 365 SharePoint integration, and basically what it is and what you can do for it. Some of this, what you can do with it. Some of what we think are really good features to it, and some that, you know, something to think about if you're going to go and do this. Basically, what it does is it allows you to store and manage your documents in the context of your Dynamics 365 system. And so what does that actually do for you? It basically it integrates Dynamics 365 and SharePoint together. So we all, since we're all here, you know, we all pretty much know what Dynamics 365 is, but, you know, just want to talk a little bit about SharePoint and what it is. And basically SharePoint, when it was originally created, it was sort of like, it was like a document management system to use so people could collaborate on different documents and things of that nature. And kind of what it's now become as we've moved from, you know, everyone's having everything stored, you know, everyone had everything locally in their data center or, you know, their server room or whatever, their SharePoint server and things of that nature. What it's become as we've moved more into the cloud is kind of an online repository or an alternate storage location for, like, say, for example, for documents and things like that, instead of storing them in Dynamics 365. So you can create, upload and view documents in SharePoint, and then you can also do that with they're integrated with within Dynamics 365. One of the main things that I was talking about is, say, for example, is an alternate storage location. As you can see here, SharePoint storage costs versus Dynamics 365 storage costs. These are extra storage costs. It's about 20 cents, that's USD, per gig, versus $10 per gig on Dynamics 365. So you can see the cost difference is huge, you know. So anything that you can offload from Dynamics 365 to SharePoint is going to be a huge win for you, you know, financially, budget-wise, and things of that nature. Another nice thing about it, using this, is it allows collaboration for non-Dynamics users and also allows you to do external sharing. That would be, like, for example, if you had like a shipping department, they're not really using Dynamics 365, but you're creating all these labels and everything like that for these orders in Dynamics. You can save them to SharePoint and then give your shipping guys access to those documents there on SharePoint. They can take them, print off their labels, and go. So they don't need that Dynamics 365 access. One thing of note, and this is one thing that we feel is kind of like a sort of a downside to this integration. While it does integrate and allow you to see these documents in Dynamics 365, excuse me, what it does not do is it does not basically your security is handled separately. So you have like your security roles on Dynamics 365 and the security roles there on SharePoint, and you can't. There's not isn't like, for example, if I didn't have access to quotes and we were quoting and things like that and saving these quotes up to SharePoint, I could actually go into SharePoint if I had the permissions and see these quotes on SharePoint, these documents on SharePoint. So you have to keep in mind that as for an administrator, that you're having to remember to do your administrative tasks there for security on Dynamics 365. You're also having to turn around and do that again on SharePoint as well. So that's one thing to kind of keep in mind. Some of the great things about SharePoint is that we feel that a lot of people, kind of don't use when they're using it as this alternate storage location, is its document management abilities. One of the things that it's got that's really, really nice is this check-in, check-out feature. What this allows you to do is it allows you to, kind of share the document with a team of users, and each individual can go in, if they want to edit this document, they will check it out. And when they have it checked out, that basically means that no other member on the team can also check it out and make changes and save it back to SharePoint. And then let's say I'm also doing that at the same time. This person saves their edits, I go and save my edits, and I overwrite this other person's edits. This check-in, check-out feature allows you to kind of keep that in check. So everyone's basically working on the most current version of the document as you check this in and check this out. Another nice thing I've already kind of touched on a little bit is versioning history. So as I check that document out, make my changes to it, and check it back in, it will up the version number to the document. So it's really handy because what this also allows you to do, you're able to see the version history, kind of as little notes about what's been done to it. Also allows you to actually revert back to another version of the document if you'd like to. So very, very handy. It also has some really good advanced search capabilities, like say for example, like if you're using Delve, you can use that. The other thing is the SharePoint, the indexing service, which will go through all your documents and basically index everything. So if you're searching for keywords that may be in a document, it's actually going to bring that back and bring those documents up to where you can find that information. So very, very handy. Setup to this is really, really simple. It's just basically a wizard. You find that underneath mscrm to do the integration. You find there's settings, document management. So if you have never enabled that, excuse me, it's basically a one-time run through. Again, here we've also linked this the TechNet article. I always have trouble saying that. So you can actually go and you can actually view that. It's actually a really great piece of documentation here by Microsoft. They've really done it step by step, and it's really, really simple to do. I think it's one of the easiest things to kind of set up in CRM. I want to talk a little bit about the list component versus server-based SharePoint integration. One thing to note is that the list component is kind of the older way of doing it. If you've worked with SharePoint before, you're probably really familiar with that. They are actually moving to the server-based SharePoint integration. There are some benefits to both. Being that the server-based is kind of SharePoint integration is kind of the way to go. That's kind of what I'm going to show here, what we're going to kind of be looking at. And I do just kind of want to show you that real quick, just to show a couple of things, just to show you what it looks like if you've never seen that before. So I'm going to go here to an account and just open this account up. And then let's see here. I'll take it just a brief moment to open up. And where this thing kind of hides the integration itself is here. I've got my account. If I want to see the documents that are associated with said account, come over here, click on the down arrow, and then here I've got documents. So if I click that, basically what this does is it gives me kind of a portal from Dynamics 365 into SharePoint. So these are all the documents that I actually have stored on SharePoint that are related to the AdventureWorks account. So you can see I've got a lot of documents here. I can browse through them all, see exactly what I need. and get it. Now, one thing to note, since one of the things that you can actually add, like so you have this command bar piece here. You can actually do a few things. You can add new documents, etc. You can upload documents or upload just pretty much anything. One thing of note here, one thing that I want to show you that I think is kind of a downfall is this difference between the server-based and the list component. With the list component, you could actually see the folders and everything like that were underneath this account, in this SharePoint location here. With that, as you can see here, I've got here all the different the path locations here to the folders. So it's not really, it doesn't really show you these folders. It basically shows you everything. So I'm looking at this account because I'm using, there's two ways of kind of setting up the integration up. It's either contact-centric or account-centric. Most people do the account-centric. So I've got this set up as account-centric. So that means that any contacts that's associated with that account is going to be under this account in the contacts folder, and then the contact's actual name, as you can see right here. But you can also see here that I'm also looking at, I've got John Kennedy and I've got Adrian here. So I've got the different folders, it's all kind of jumbled together. I can't really see the, kind of how it is. But, one of the nice things is I can actually open this up from Dynamics and actually go right into my SharePoint site and see all this information right in here and actually use this to kind of get to kind of look and see what's associated with what, without having to go to the actual contact and then look at all that kind of stuff. So I see everything that's been, either sent to this person or stored there or whatever related to this person or to that opportunity, etc. All right. So I hope that makes sense. It is one of those things that I wish that they would work. I wish that they would do the security to where it would, that would basically take the security from Dynamics and push it to SharePoint, or vice versa, however you want to do it, and also just to be able to browse through the folders there inside of Dynamics CRM. But other than that, it's a really great and useful tool. So I want to talk a little bit about our add-ons and kind of how they work with all this. And basically, we're basically always trying to make things easier for you guys and just basically streamline the process. We're, automating this process and doing automation of the Dynamics 365 SharePoint integration. The first tool that I'm going to talk about is AttachmentExtractor. Some of you may already be familiar with it, but basically what it does is it automatically moves files from Dynamics 365 to SharePoint. Okay, and what I'm talking about is I'm talking about your email attachments. If you're tracking emails, your notes. If you're attaching things to note files and things of that nature, it's actually going to take those and extract them and put them on the SharePoint. Where it's got where the excuse me. Where the cost of storage is way less than the cost of storage on CRM. Okay. Basically, again, like I said, it reduces that online storage cost. It's going to build a structured repository based on your CRM SharePoint integration. So basically what it's going to do for you is it's just going to follow that folder structure. So if you're account-centric, you're going to have the account, and anything that's been extracted from the account is going to be in that folder. Underneath that, you're going to have your contacts with their information and any of their extractions put into there. So it follows along with that. It puts things where it needs to go. It's also great for archiving as well. So let's say, for example, that after about 6 months, those attachments, you're probably not going to go back and visit them or need to open them or anything like that, but you want to get them out of CRM so you're not building up this huge database and accruing more costs. You can actually set AttachmentExtractor up to where it moves data older than 6 months, older than a year, moves that stuff automatically into SharePoint for you. So your users will actually have access to the files inside of CRM unless they're older than a year. Then we're taking them and storing them on SharePoint. But I'm going to kind of show you here in a minute what that looks like. That doesn't mean they're not going to be able to access them from CRM. They still will be able to, but it'll just be an alternate storage location, not taking up your storage space there on CRM. A little bit about DocumentsCorePack. What it basically does is it allows you to save generated documents automatically to SharePoint when you're creating these documents. One of the nice things about it too is we're creating these documents, we have a lot more control, you know, over where these things are actually going in SharePoint. So you can actually set it up to, let's say for example that you're creating these quotes, but you don't want these quotes to actually be saved, this one certain quote to be saved underneath the quotes. You want it to be saved to a different folder, say like for example to the account folder, into a different subfolder. You know, if it's like a special quote or a proposal or whatever, you want them to be saved there. In the actual template, you can actually define these save locations. So it's basically, you can do it based on the template. So you can have one template that saves to one location, one template that saves to another location, and that's just something that you know, it doesn't affect your users. This is automatically done and automatically saved to that. Also, another great thing, if you're using the integration itself, it allows online editing of documents. And what I mean by that is it gives you the ability to open the document, like you create this document. Let's say you want to make some edits to it or add like a personal note or something along those lines. It allows you to open that up in Word or Word Online, make those changes, and then that document will then be saved to SharePoint with your edits on it. Okay. Also, like say for example, if you're emailing the document, you can make those changes, and those changes will be, then what it does is it takes that actual document, turns it into a PDF or whatever document type you like, attaches it to the email, and sends it on with your changes in there. So if you're, you know, it's really nice because you know, you don't need the DocumentsCorePack client anymore. You've got, you know, you can just do all this stuff here. You don't even have to have Word. You just need to have Word Online, and you're able to do this. Okay. Another nice thing about it is you're able to save SharePoint properties. So for example, you're able to populate metadata for extended search capabilities. You can take basically any field and put that in as a column there inside of SharePoint for you know, just pull that metadata over with it. That really helps you, like, you know, like if you're really into searching through SharePoint and using that, that's really going to help you a lot, just to pull the information over that your search engine, that the indexing service is going to index, and you know, the SharePoint search and everything like that's going to be able to pull that stuff up. So really helpful. Again, that is also something that either is based on the actual template itself. So certain templates you can pull certain metadata over, and other templates you can pull completely different metadata over. So it just depends on kind of how you want to do it. In general, for both, you're able to create. We're automatically creating these document locations. So you're no longer going to hit that document button if the document location is not created. It's not going to ask if you want to create one. You know, you're creating these documents, or you know, you're running a workflow where you're going to create a SharePoint folder automatically. Again, that's something I'm going to show here in a second. We're able to create these for you on the fly. You're able to use custom names with, say for example, like DocumentsCorePack. All attributes are supported for that. And you're also able to do it without a GUID. So a lot of you SharePoint people, you know, you've kind of noticed like instead of getting like the account name, you get the account name underscore and the GUID. So we're able to cut that and kind of leave that GUID completely off. We're also able to handle long names. So like if you've got you know, it's an opportunity with, you know, where, you know, there's a certain amount of characters that you can have for a folder name. We're able to cut that down to where it's still readable, but you're still able to get that into SharePoint, so you don't have any errors there. Another nice piece here that we've kind of included here that I think is really great is this tool from Microsoft called Organizational Insights. You can download it from the App Source. And one of the things that we think, this works very well with AttachmentExtractor, that we think is really great on that is, if I can just kind of show you this for a moment here. This is the Organizational Insights dashboard. I'm able to see quickly at a glance you know, all my storage here in CRM, how much I'm actually using, how much I've used up, what's taken up the most here, my annotation base. You know, you can see exactly where all this stuff's coming from, and there's a lot more features to this that for any CRM administrator, this tool is almost a must-have, and it's also one of those things that I wish we would have done, but Microsoft did it. It's free, and we highly suggest going to get it. All right, so just want to talk about the demo that we're going to do today. First part, just going to show you AttachmentExtractor, give you a little overview about how it works, you know, what you're going to see, and some of the little features that you can see how when we move files around, you know, just kind of what it looks like. And then DocumentsCorePack, just want to show you how easy it is to edit these documents, the online editing of the documents, and then how to create a SharePoint location via workflow. All right. So I'm going to pop on over here to the demo system here. And the first thing that I want to look at is I'm going to come back here to this account at VentureWorks. I just want to show you here real quick what this kind of looks like. So I've got AttachmentExtractor set up to actually extract only node attachments from cases. This is just so we can show the differences here. This here, you can see this is an attachment here to the notes. It's just a PDF. This is exactly what the user sees when they go to their notes here. They'll see this PDF, and they'll click on it. It will say, hey, do you want to download this? It'll download for them, etc. They're able to open up that PDF and read it. With AttachmentExtractor, it looks pretty much the same. So here I've got, this is now flipped over here to a case. You can see here I'm on my notes, and you can see all my notes, they look pretty much the same. The only difference that you're going to see here is this .url file. So basically what we do here is we take the attachments that's in there. I know for a fact that this attachment here, this particular one is, let's see here, I think it was a meg or two. I think it was a meg of a meg and a half or so. We basically extract that and then replace it with this .url file, which is basically a link to that this document on SharePoint, right? So we're basically replacing a big attachment with a lot smaller attachment. As you can see here, you can't see this here, but one of the nice things that does come with AttachmentExtractor is this ability, these email tools here. And you're able to actually, like your quick notes, you're able to see these notes and everything like that. And here it gives me my file size. So we're replacing a 1.5 meg file with a 1K file. Okay. And then all I need to do to open that is, you know, here you saw it before I clicked it, and it wanted to open it up. It opened it up here from CRM. Here I click this, it automatically, as you can see here, is opening this file up directly from SharePoint. So your users are never going to be, they're going to think that everything, if they don't live in SharePoint, they're going to think that everything's still coming from CRM. You know, when you're basically saving a lot of cash by offloading all these attachments and everything like that to SharePoint. So they'll be able to get at anything straight from there. So if we kind of go into here into the documents here of CRM here, I've got my my list here with my different folders and everything like that. I'm just going to open this up in SharePoint just so you can kind of see. Here, basically all these files here have been extracted by AttachmentExtractor. Now, what I've done here is this is the reason that I'm not, you know, this is all you basically see, is I'm doing this for speed reasons. You know, you are able to bring over metadata with when you extract, you're able to bring that in, maybe a link back to the actual file itself. But you know, if you want the speed, you want to, like, if you try just to get as much as you can out of the database, that's really what you want to do, is not bring over kind of any metadata at all. You just want AttachmentExtractor to concentrate on files. As you can see here, I've got this folder called Notes. So what AttachmentExtractor also allows you to do is it also allows you to create subfolders for emails and notes. So I can actually have a subfolder, and I can name it pretty much anything I want, up to 14 characters, that actually lives inside of this actual the SharePoint location here, that all my extracted notes would go to, and all my extracted emails would go into the other email folder. So I want to open this one up because this one I actually did with metadata, and I want to kind of show you what the difference is. You can see here I've got this is my top note here. I would flip back, but you saw it was the .url. So it got extracted about an hour ago. You can see here I've got some other information that I'm bringing over. I've got my link back to CRM. I've got here all this kind of other information, the GUI, the link GUI, what type it was. It's from an annotation, the CRM record, all kinds of stuff. Really, really nice information that's really helpful. But again, it does slow the process down just a little bit. Okay, so that's something to note. So that's pretty much how AttachmentExtractor works and what things can look like inside of SharePoint and how we move things over and move things around to SharePoint. So I kind of want to go in and show you how I can actually create SharePoint folders on the fly. This is just a feature that's in DocumentsCorePack, a really, really helpful feature. So I've got a workflow here that I've created, just a standard workflow. I'm going to open it up, blow it up for you here. It's called Create SharePoint Folders. I am running this as an on-demand, but normally when you're doing this, you can do this when a record's created to have it fire off. That's usually the time to do it. Here I'm doing this on accounts. And basically what I want to do, the first thing that I want to do is come in and I want to add a step. And then I'm going to create a record. And if you're familiar with DocumentsCorePack and creating these, this is going to be something that's not new to you. So here basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a auto-merge working item. This auto-merge working item is basically how we tell the DocumentsCorePack service to do things such as create a document, etc., etc. Here we're only concerned about creating SharePoint folders here. So the first thing I do is I need to give it a name. I need to give it an action. Here I'm going to create a SharePoint folder. Okay, lots of other things that you can do. You can create documents, concatenate them, attach them to things, send an email automatically, print your documents, all kinds of stuff. But I'm just creating a SharePoint folder. That's all I really want to do. Here I give it the primary record URL. And here what I'm doing is I'm looking for the account, and I am looking for the record URL dynamic. So when I run this workflow, it's going to use the URL of the record that I'm running it against to do this. So here I say OK, get that right in here. Scroll down to my section where I create the SharePoint folder. And just for a reference here, this is what I want to do. When I create a new account, I want to automatically create a SharePoint location. And then I want to create 2 folders. And then underneath one of those folders, I want to create 2 subfolders. So how we basically do that is we take that and put it right in here. So I'll start off with the first folder, it's proposals, and then to create a subfolder for it, it's just a backslash, and then it's just the first one would be drafts. Separate that with a semicolon. Again, I want to create that second subfolder, so it's proposals, and then final. I'm spelling that wrong. Final. Oh, it's not right. All right, and then lastly, I want to create this folder called Product Flyers. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put that in there. That's basically all I have to do, and I'm done. So basically now, whenever this workflow is done, whenever it runs, it's going to create the account SharePoint location. Then it's going to create 2 folders underneath that location, one called Product Flyers, the other one called Proposals. And then underneath the Proposals folder, it's going to create a Drafts and a Final folder. So all I have to do is activate that and run it. I've already done that, so just want to go ahead and show you what it kind of looks like here. So if I go back here to, let's see here, my dashboard. I've done it here for Bellows College. So let me just bring that up. Again, this is one of those things that you'll see. You're definitely not going to see it here in the, oops, let's go to Documents, open that up. And, you know, as you can see, you can't see it here. So let's open this location up in SharePoint to kind of show you that. And there we go. So this is what it would actually look like. So, you know, I kind of ran this 2 hours ago. But you can see it just basically created product flyers. It's totally empty. And then I have my proposals here with my drafts and final folders in there. So really handy to, you can go ahead and define that folder structure yourself and place the folders however you want to when creating accounts or contacts or anything like that. And this is something that just will run in the background. The user will not know that it's kind of going on. They'll, you know, let's say they just need to upload something here to drafts. They're creating a new account and they have a draft proposal that they need, that they've done, that they need to upload. Well, as they create this account, it will create these. They'll go into SharePoint and automatically be able to upload this right into the drafts folder, right into here. So a really handy little piece of tool there. So I want to thank you guys for coming again.
Hey, Clint?
Yeah.
Clint, real quick. I think one thing we should also mention real quick or show is the online editing feature of
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Thank you for that, because I completely yeah. So for the online editing piece, again, thank you, Michael, for that. Just kind of want to show you here, basically one of the other ways that we have besides workflows is this create document here, this create document dialog. The DocumentsCorePack dialog is what we call it. All I need to do is go in here and run this. Then I'm able to kind of choose what I want to do. So here I can do, like, say for example, here I want to create this document called Account Reconnect. Here I will say next. And let's see, I want to create a PDF. I want to attach it as to an email as an email attachment. Then, you know, I want to, it's, you know, all my other settings, anything I want to do, and then I can save this document to SharePoint. So once I'm done setting all this stuff, I can go ahead and click next. Once I'm done, it's creating the document here from this template. It's pulling all the information from CRM and basically merging it into that template. And it just takes a brief moment to kind of get it together. And then I will have a created document here in just a moment. Okay, so I've got my document here, and let's say I want to make a few edits to it. So here I just have the edit button. Here I'm going to use Word Online. It opens the document up here in Word Online for me. And let's see here, let's say for example I know this person and I just want to put a little something a little bit more personal here. So let me just get rid of this and say, okay, so there we go. Thanks for using our, I know for example it's, let's see, it's products here and products. So there we go. So I've done the edits here. I can just close this out and then click finish. So it's actually going to create that as an email attachment and also save that to SharePoint as well. So just give it just a minute here to do that. All right, so it actually is opening up the email for me, so I can actually write my email, etc. in there. But I've got my document here, but the most important thing is that if we come over to here, underneath documents, let's see here. Let's sort these real quick. And get that document out. All right, here's the document here that we just created. So open that up and you can see here, it's taking my edits. Here we got products and hello Bill. So really nice and simple to use, especially like, you know, like with Word Online or with just standard Word. Opens that up and you just make your changes and close it and save it back to SharePoint, or in the case of Word Online, you just make your changes and close it it's automatically done. Then you continue doing what you're doing. But that's how simple it is to actually edit a document there. So yeah, there we go. So now I want to thank you all for coming. Just a couple of things real quick. You can actually find us on the web at www.mscrm-addons.com. Our Help Center, we have live support. We have live chat. You can find us there. Easiest way, instead of trying to memorize that whole thing, is just go to our website. There's a little support tab there. You just click on that. It'll take you right to whatever you need to know. The other thing is, don't forget, we got an awesome blog. A lot of this stuff is covered in the blog, like, for example, creating those SharePoint folders via workflow is actually covered in there. You just go to our main website, hover over the support tab. It'll give you a little drop-down menu. You hit blog, and then in the search, you just type in SharePoint folders, and I'm pretty sure that's the first one that it's going to come up with on how to do that. You know, it's a pretty long document, so but it gives you the step-by-step on how to exactly do that.